Oh man, I am so pumped about this. The one and only Michael Rapaport in the house here in Portland, Oregon. I got to ask you, man, just right out of the gate, because you need no introduction. The resume is crazy for you, man. But what's it like to be in Portland, Oregon? I can't imagine this is a place you get to very often.
It's beautiful. The colors of the leaves have stuck out to me, and the fresh air. I'm in New York and Los Angeles often. That's where I spend most of my time. So we're not used to fresh air on either one of those coasts. So the air has been nice. The people have been good. The coffee's been good. The food has been good. I got to go to a Trailblazers game the other night.
That's what's up. All right.
Yeah, so that was cool because I've followed the Trailblazers. That's how I think I learned about Portland, was through basketball. The Portland Trailblazers, going back to the the Bill Walton days and the Maurice Lucas days and the Jerome Kersey days and Clyde and everybody since then. So it was cool to see them play. But I'm enjoying Portland. I'm enjoying performing. I got the show last night at the Helium Comedy Club here in Portland. It's my first time performing here, and I'm looking forward to 2 more nights at the Helium Comedy Club.
I'm glad you brought that up, man. There's gonna be a lot of people out at Helium to check you out. Notice the picture behind you, man. That's the mood.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
What were kind of the preconceived notions about Portland when you were coming up here, man?
I don't think I had any preconceived notions. I heard about the the gluten-free this and the gluten-free that, but I've always just heard just about the beauty of the state of Oregon and the people, the chillness, like they said, the food, obviously sneakers, Nike, Adidas, you hear about that stuff, and for me it's like basketball and really like the art and the culture and stuff that goes on up here. But I will say, and I'm not like Mr. Johnny Nature, the color of the leaves has stuck out to me.
Yeah, no, I was the same way when I moved here to Portland a few years ago as well, man. That stood out to me. But Michael, you mentioned the Portland Trailblazers.
Right.
I mean, they are struggling right now, and this is Rip City. Like, people love basketball. Like, this is the sport here. As somebody who knows what it's like to have a team that is struggling, what is your advice for Blazers fans that are dealing with an off year?
Well, you're not going to get any sympathy from me, Blazer fans. You guys have sniffed around titles and Western Conference finals for years. You've had your tough times. I'm a New York Knicks fan. Okay, you had your Bill Walton victory, the championship. You've had your Dame Lillard, last second shots. That was gorgeous what he did last year to OKC, and then he did it to Houston. You've had your moments. I'm a New York Knicks fan, so the kind of suffering that we have is beyond what you guys are really dealing with. So I think you're going to be fine when Nurkic gets back. I think it'll help a lot, and I don't think you guys are have to worry too much. When the Blazers, they've gone through. Just there are sour moments in Blazers history. Yeah. From Bill Walton to Sam Bowie to even Greg Oden. Like they know what it's like to have a big guy, and now Yusuf Nurkic be down. They're hoping that everything is all right, man. But I didn't even make that correlation. That's right. It's crazy to think about, but it's also if you're 7 foot and above in Portland. That could be maybe it's the weather, I don't know, the dampness. Yeah. That might not be good, yeah. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, now you've had a chance to see Greg Oden with the Big Three. Yep. And so it's a sour subject because people expected so much, but now are happy to see him excel and succeed and have another chance at basketball. What's it been like for you? It's been great. I mean, I love doing the Big Three. No athlete wants their body to give up on them. He had so many injuries time and time again. He never really got to show his stuff. But even in the Big Three, you see like the greatness, and you see the what if factor just from the games he played last year. He's so big, physically big, and just so good around the basket and physically imposing and with a soft touch. It's a shame that he didn't get to have his chance as a Trailblazer. It was disappointing. But it's been fun being a part of the Big Three and watching the Big Three grow as a league and getting a chance to be the sideline reporter. That's what I was going to talk to you about, is your gig within that organization. Yep. Like you're watching it grow like right before our eyes. Yep. and take off. But what's it like to be there courtside and to interview these dudes in the middle of games and stuff like that? I'm like a kid in a candy store. I love doing it. I love basketball so much, and so many of those guys I watched in college, and then they're throughout their pro careers, and like Doc as a coach, and Gary Payton obviously is big, Oregon, and George Gervin and Oakley and all the guys. Like it's just a pleasure, and of course Clyde Drexler. It's just a pleasure. It's a lot of fun. And it's work, but it really is no sweat for me. I'd love it.
You're like the perfect guy for that job, like the king of trash talk. There's nobody better in the game, so to have you there. But what is it like to interact with some of these dudes who are also really good at trash talk? You mentioned Gary Payton, who is from Oregon State, who is one of the legends around here.
I love it. For me, trash talk or snapping, whatever you call it, like you have to be able to give it as good as you take it. So I like, when people come at me and make jokes about me, I think it's hilarious, and I like to give it back. But it's all if I don't like you, or if I don't feel comfortable around you, I won't talk trash with you. It's like if I don't say anything to you, then it should be word. But like if I like you and I respect you, then I'll probably do that.
So who's a guy that you like and respect that can dish it as well as take
Gary
it?
Payton is the best.
Is that right?
He's the best. He's one of the best he's definitely the best in sports, not even close. He could have a career as a comedian. He's hilarious. Gary Payton is hands down, without even trying. He's not even in his prime of trash talking anymore. But it's just who he is. Like he is the best. Period.
What does it take to be a good trash talker? What are some of the characteristics that Gary Payton has that make him stand out among the rest?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, you have to be smart. I think humor, comes from being smart and having a intuitiveness and a sensitivity, and you just have to be quick. There's no time to think things through. You have to be ferociously brave to be a good trash talker.
All right, I would be remiss if I didn't ask about the great Clyde Drexler.
Yep.
What is it like to work with him within the Big Three, knowing that he is the man of that organization right now?
I mean, Clyde, I was such a fan of his at Phi Slamma Jam at Houston.
Yeah.
And then his pro career, and like everybody else, I was rooting for him to take down Jordan and them. He's just so cool. He's laid back. He's chill. He's got a very good sense of humor. He's kind of standoffish, at times at the press, like but he's got a very good sense of humor. And there's a side of Clyde Drexler that I think, I think he should show more, because he's very funny.
Oh, that's interesting, because there's so many people. He's such a beloved figure around here, one of the greatest of all time for the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yeah. So he's cool, and the whole experience has been fun. And like I said, I've always had an affection for Portland. So to get up here and have the opportunity to perform at the Helium Comedy Club here, it's dope.
Just your range, I think, is incredible, man. Like, I remember you growing up watching you on, like, MTV's Rock and Jock, man.
Right.
Like going back to those days and watching you through, like, so many different TV shows from, like, Friends, and just, like, the way you've been able to do this. What does it take to continue to evolve as things change? And now going into the social media game and having over 1 million followers.
Well, this business, show business, is not for the meek. It takes a tenacity. It takes a thick skin. You're going to have your ebbs and flows of a career. You're going to have, times when things are falling in place, and then times when they're not. You just have to keep sort of pushing forward, keep, thinking, you really have to believe in yourself. It sounds like a cliche, but, you have to be your biggest critic and your biggest fan. For me, that's how I look about it. Everybody has their own sort of method to the madness, but for me, and it's just a tenacity. You have to be tenacious about wanting to succeed in show business.
Mike, I have to ask you about social media and the way that you've been able to master it and not hold back and say how you feel. I mean, that's always who you've been anyway,
right,
man. But people have just come to it. But you've also triggered, like everybody's triggered when you say, you'll talk about the president, you'll talk about LeBron, and it's crazy, man.
It's just, it's always been who I am, and because there's an immediacy to putting a camera in front of your face, your phone in front of your face, or articulating a thought or something like that. I didn't plan on it working out that way. It just happened. I love it. It's a sign of the times. I do it for you know, if it makes me laugh, hopefully it'll make people laugh. And 99.9% of what you see on social media, it's all, you know, it's all smoke and mirrors and fun and games, except for when we talk about the president. That's when my face is a little bit more red than normal. So that stuff really gets me upset. But even that, I poke fun, and I poke fun of myself. But people tend to just hear, like, you know, it's a tone. You know, New Yorkers, we have a tone. We have like a tone. So people kind of like it's like, you know, I don't know. It doesn't bother me because I'm used to it, but people like to be like kind of, you know, they hear that So I think that's what it is. What's
kind of been the response or reaction or comments that have triggered people the most, or even triggered you?
I mean, it could be anything from sports, LeBron or Tom Brady, Kanye. You know, you talk about music or different musicians, and you know, people. Because everybody has fans, so if people get upset, it's usually, you know, like their fans they'll come back, and you know, and then they start talking about me and all that stuff. So, but it's all good, you know. I really have gotten so used to it that it's just kind of like, it's like I feel like sometimes I'm like the Matrix on Keanu Reeves, like I'm just like, you know, sifted through all the good and the bad of it. It's all silly to me, like, because I don't even know who the people are 99.9% of the time.
Does that make it easier to clap back at people? Because I think that being in like my shoes, that's like one of the things you're like, oh, I'm walking a fine line here. I don't want to tick people off, and
I don't care about pissing them off.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're gonna say wild stuff to me, and you know, you look like this, I'm gonna say, well, what I think you look like. So, and I'm a professional. So I you know, it's all silly. It's all fun and games for me.
All right, I got to ask you about Atypical, man. Big fan. My wife and I, we love to watch it. Already ran through the newest season. What made you decide to take on that role? It's so different from maybe some of the things you've done in the past.
Well, because it was different. You know, the role has been very, you know, the character's evolved. He's very sort of quiet, introspective, gentle character, which is a fun sort of color to play. And the show is really resonated with people of different ages, and you know, people have an emotional connection to the show. So I'm really proud of Atypical, and season 3 seems like and feels like it's the biggest season that we've had yet, and you know, it's just a show that I'm really enjoy doing.
And it's on Netflix right now. Yep. Mike, what makes it so special, this show, and why, you know, you mentioned the connection that people have had with it?
I think what makes the show special is the honesty. I think it's a mix of very funny. I think it's lighthearted, but it also has very serious themes. And you know, some shows have a little some of all that stuff, or they might be focused on one thing. I think this show, it's just, there's a genuineness to it, whether it's serious or the comedy. I think there's a genuineness to it, and the acting, I think, is very, very good. The actors on the show, Jennifer Jason Leigh and the 2 kids that play my kids, they're very, very good. So I think, you know, they're able to bring things to life.
And at Helium Comedy Club this weekend here in Portland, Oregon, what can people expect?
They could expect disruptive comedy. It's my disruptive comedy tour. It's going to be a lot of trash talking. It's fun. I poke fun at everybody, including myself, and you know, it's going to be a good time. I'm excited about closing it up strong the next 2 nights here in Portland.
Hey man, Blazers fans, they hate the Lakers. Like they hate them. Like that. They're at the top of the list. So whenever they're doing well, man, it's just like nails to a chalkboard. And seeing your comments with LeBron and the Lakers, I got to know, can you give the people of Portland a little insight on how you feel about the Los Angeles Lakers?
You know, I don't hate the Lakers. I can't stand LeBron. That being said, he's great. I don't need to tell the people of Portland that. We all know he's great. That doesn't mean we have to like it. That doesn't mean I have to sit back and enjoy it. I don't think they're going to win the championship. They're having, I mean, listen, basketball is so hyped up right now that we're paying attention to, you know, your team is 4-8, or, you know, 6-3, and other teams 8-2. We haven't even reached 20 games yet. It's not even, Christmas used to be the time when we get a little litmus test. We're not even, you know, discussing All-Stars yet. So just chill. Things could pick up for the Blazers. And the Lakers, listen, enjoy not liking them, and you could rest easy, because I am here to tell you the Lakers ain't winning a champion. LeBron James will grow his full head of hair back before they win a championship. All right, so you'll be good. Don't
So it's
worry.
not happening, huh?
They win a championship this year. Trust me. It's not happening.
And I know you just said we got a long way to go, but I'm just curious, like, who do you think is winning the NBA Finals?
It's hard to say. I would think Philly, Milwaukee. I think I'd say Philly, Milwaukee, Houston, and I have to say the Clippers are the ones. And the Lakers are looming. But, you know, the thing with the Lakers is just the injuries. And I want all the guys to be healthy. But I'd say those 5 teams are the best teams right now. I mean, Denver's good, too. So Utah's good. There's a lot of good teams.
I could talk all day. I appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us here at KGW.
Thanks for having me.
Come check out Michael Rapaport in Portland, Oregon for a limited time this weekend. Helium Comedy Club. Check him out.